Hello, everyone. My name is Beena Raghavendran. I'm currently on a fellowship doing engagement reporting at ProPublica, but I want to talk about something a little bit different today. It's about my love for Indian food. So Indian food is pretty much my favorite thing in the whole entire world. It is my comfort food. It's the food I eat when I'm sad, but it's also like food I really love to eat when I want to celebrate and do special things with people. And Indian foods had like a really interesting evolution even in my family and my family's life. So on the top left-hand corner here, you have a banana leaf. That's like really traditional in India to sometimes eat food off of banana leaves and eat with your hands. And my parents grew up in India before they immigrated to the US into a very sprawling suburban kitchen, which is my next experience with Indian food. So we sometimes ate with our hands, but then we also did the Americanized way of eating with knives and spoons. And then Indian food had another transition when I moved into my first college dorm. So that was an experience because we had one microwave at the end of our hall that everybody on our hall used, and I had to figure out how to cook Indian food in it. And I'm still going through another adaptation of Indian food, which is bottom left-hand corner. That is my apartment in Manhattan, 21 square foot kitchen, no oven, so another adaptation of eating Indian food there. I say all this not because I love talking about Indian food, but it actually has some actual connections to the transformation of the news industry. So I've adapted my food this many times over the years, and I've come to understand some things. The news industry is transforming, and I think we can use some of the lessons I've learned in adapting Indian food to apply to looking at the way audiences are going to expect things from us in 10 years. These are like base level expectations, right? When I think about Indian food, I want the food to be strong and taste really good. I want it to be food that can be easily prepared, and I want it to be food that you can really taste the passion and the love in. And I think that's pretty similar for news. This is the way we've kind of always looked at things. You really want strong news. You want news that can be easily accessed, and you want news where you can see the passion and the drive that the journalists have had in pursuing it. So here's a couple lessons that we could maybe all think about when we think about audience expectations in 10 years. One, don't lose sight of the basics. My mom has this way that she starts off all her Indian food, which I think is pretty consistent. It's a mixture called wagarne. It's hot oil and seasoning, and you mix the two together, and that's where you get the really aromatic flavor, really like the taste that Indian food is known for. And without that base, it's really hard to create Indian food. Similarly, when we're thinking about audience expectations, I think audiences are always really going to want good, well-reported, and important stories. Mary Berry would ask us to consider the soggy bottom. So read through multiple recipes just like you read through all the really great journalism research that's happening. Think about what's worked, think about what hasn't, and use that to inform innovation moving forward. I want to segue into my relationship with my Instant Pot. Fancy tools are super great. This is me like minutes after unpacking my Instant Pot. But don't expect them to just be a magic bullet and improve your journalism overnight. I naively thought I could just put all of my ingredients into my Instant Pot and like magic Indian food would pop out. That's like not how it works. Also, tools don't mean you can shortcut your way out of the basics. Like I forgot what my mom had always told me about the wagarne, right? Because I was like, oh, like the Instant Pot will take care of all of that. It didn't. Spoiler alert, doesn't work. This is an example of a really sweet text that my mom will sometimes send me and my sister, who's in the audience somewhere here. She'll text us and be like, oh, you know, what do you want for dinner? This is a great example of crowdsourcing. And as an engagement reporter, it's like really close to my heart. Like crowdsource, listen to your audience. Don't forget who you're cooking for. Sometimes we have to tone down the spice level at our house, depending on who's coming to dinner. You know, accessibility is like really, really key. It really sucks to fail. We all know this, Kevin Malone knows this, but it's okay when you do, and it helps you learn. And sometimes, even if it's 10 years from now and I'm 10 years older, you just have to put your ego aside and call mom and be like, Mom, I don't remember how to do this complicated Indian technique. You know, we all have to do this, and it's just a really good practice, and it makes us better journalists. Last thing is what my mom would tell me. She would say sometimes you can taste the passion and the love when people have really cooked a good meal, and you can see it in their food. So do this in your journalism, too. Finally, I'm an engagement reporter, so if there's a story from your life that's shaped the way you look at journalism, I want to hear it. So get in touch, and thanks so much for listening.